your high school is how we connected. Was it called Laksha, like, or back when you were in
Loxa.
high school? Did it have that like cool abbreviation back then, or is that a branding thing in recent years?
No, that's always been Loxa. Even before I went there, that's what it was. So it's the acronym, right? It's the LA County High School for the Arts. There's also OSHA, which
Yeah.
is Orange County School for the Arts. Yeah, that was always the title. That's how I heard about it. That's what I submitted to audition for, because it is a public school, but you do have to either audition or submit a portfolio if you're a visual artist. Yeah, but it's pretty amazing that this institution, that this public funded school for the arts, has such a high caliber of education. Like, their curriculum is so advanced that by the time I got to college felt a little redundant, quite honestly. Right. Yeah.
By the time you were in college, you'd already had your SAG card for like 7 years.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. There's that whole thing. Yeah.
So when I went to high school, my high school has given the world a lot of writers and entertainers, but they hated that high school. And it's kind of like they want to prove a point that I got successful in spite of my high school's policy.
Interesting.
Did you have a lot of pride about high school when you were in high school, or is this it, as you got older, you started to look back and went, I didn't have it so bad?
I mean, Darren, do you know a ton of high schoolers who are like, I love my school?
Yearbook committee.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, exactly. I think from the moment I heard about Loxa and was accepted and got to attend, there was a huge part of my mind that knew I was at a special place, that I had appreciation for it and gratitude. The perspective and sort of the awareness of the quality of experience, the quality of arts education, the quality of exposure of art and culture and human beings has only grown in my time since. So I think, like, at high school, yeah, I was like, yeah, I go to a cool high school, but hey, I'd rather be, playing video games in the lobby of a Pacific Theaters, if you know what I mean.
NBA Jam, I would assume.
Exactly. Cruising USA, man.
Well, doing some Wikipedia research, because everyone knows everything that's on Wikipedia is true. I was looking to see who the other alumni of the school were around when you were there. Is it correct you were in high school at the same time as Daniel Brummel from the band Ozma?
Oh, man.
If the answer is I don't know, I'll ask you the other name.
Sure, probably. Daniel, like I didn't have a ton of if he went there, he probably was I mean, the name is familiar, but I'm assuming he was a musician, and they were like cooler than I was a theater nerd, right? So like we were the spazzes of the campus. Visual arts were like, they were the badasses. They were like, you are not cool enough to hang with the visual arts students. Musicians were like, like kind of like sitting off, like, maybe hippie-ish, or maybe like, off to the side. And then just like dancers were just like the most attractive people. Like, dancers were the popular, cool, like most, and kind of in a way our jocks. And theater kids were just spazzy nerds.
Well, the other name I had, Christina Milian. She was in high school with you at the same time?
Was she? I mean, I know who she is. I don't know that we were there at the same time. If we were, I did not know her. I graduated in 2000. I just turned 40. I feel like Christina's younger than that.
I think she made it super young. So it's one of those things where, like you're a showbiz veteran and you're 40. One of those kinds of things.
Yeah. I'm at the bottom of the other side of the hill. Are
you the oldest young person or the youngest old person?
Yeah, I'll take it. That is a transition, right? Like, you have this feather in your cap of being the youngest Mad TV cast member in history.
Oh yeah.
Which is not as impressive at 40. that's the fuel that feeds your engine of like, yeah, I was freaking prodigy in comedy, and now it's just like, I just want to find a nice lake where they make good cocktails.
We're not sending you off to the glue factory.
You can, as long as there's a lake and cocktails. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, something I heard you say in an interview that blows my mind about you is that when you were on SNL, most of the time you were flying back to LA after the show and coming back.
Thank you. I'll take any appreciation for that. Yeah, for the first 4 of 6 seasons, I was commuting bi-coastally from LA because Kobe, my wife, was still shooting How I Met Your Mother.
Right.
And so, and we had, when I got SNL, we had a 1-year-old child. So I would leave them. I would go do the crazy euphoric madhouse that is SNL for, 2, 3, sometimes 4 weeks. I would stay up after the last show, go to the after party, which starts at like 1:30 a.m., stay there till 3 a.m., find the after party that was either in some like scuzzy loft or at a karaoke bar that would stay open for us. Right. Be there till 5:30 a.m., get in a cab, go to the airport, fly home, and be back at my house by 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I remember one time I like came home, I went across the street to this health food store here in LA and like to get a smoothie. And this guy's face, he was like, "No, it's not live. Saturday Night Live it's not live. I just watched you last night. They said it was a new episode." I was like, no. Yeah, it is. I am a very dedicated family man.
Yeah. So doing the math in my head, as somebody who has a lot of airline miles on reserve, each time you do New York to LA, it's 3,000 miles. And the number of years that you were doing that, I was curious when you hit the million-miler club.
Ooh, I don't know if I ever got there. I don't know. What? Like, so I don't think so. I'm also like bad at signing up for the things that I should be a part of. You know what I mean? Like any, so I was doing Virgin America. That was my go-to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, because it's not per episode, right? So that's the thing. So it's like if a season is, let's say I did it 7 times, right? So 7 times 3, it's like, what is that? That's 210,000 miles.
But then
21,000 a season times 4. I never got there. I did. It was like what happened was I would do 3 or 4 flights and then the 5th one was free. That's how it kind of balanced out.
Oh, so you cashed in your points
as quickly as possible.
Got it. I would have figured that plus film shoots. The infamous SNL appearance in a film for 5 seconds that you shot in Vancouver thing. There would have been like 15 of those, and then that trips.
You're very generous to me. I averaged 3 to 4 at best.
One last SNL question, and that's, we've seen in the last 10 years, a lot of SNL cast members who are not stand-up comics have gotten into stand-up, and that stand-up style, which, as evidenced by me seeing Chris Kattan in Vegas about a month ago, is basically telling a few stories and then Q&A with the crowd, and that's stand-up. On your end, Mad TV, SNL, all that, Wild and Out, we've seen you everywhere for decades now. Do you have that stand-up gene in you where you hope to do one-man shows?
It's so funny. I was just talking about this to my friend Rick Glassman, who
who I had the pleasure of interviewing. His show on Amazon is amazing.
It's so good, isn't it? As we see it, yeah. He's amazing, and he is a stand-up, and I've had stand-up friends pretty much my entire adult life. Mm-hmm. My reasons for not being drawn to it are I'll try to give you the top 3 reasons. Please. 1, I don't think I'm interesting enough to give you my humorous observations. I just mean I would rather play a character, be part of a scene, tell a story, and make an observation that way. But the second it's like, hey, I've got something that you guys should all listen to, I cringe. That's just my thing. 2, the appeal of it at this point, in using Chris as an example, I mean, I would wonder if he found it appealing because it's so easy to fly somewhere and stand on a theater, as opposed to writing a script, getting someone to give you money to produce it, cast, directors, crew, everything, press. You just have to show up and do it. So there's a simplicity and there's a self-efficiency of stand-up that I do covet, that I'm envious of. But the second I start going down the rabbit hole of like, should I try it? The things I'm focused on are money, how much time I have to travel, like I have to drive there. Like the fact that those are my first thoughts.
Yeah.
And not what's the material I want, what's the message I want to convey, what's the art. I'm not drawn to the stand-up format personally. I love it, and I see it frequently, and I respect the hell out of it, but I don't have the artistic passion to perform in that format.
Got it. Were there, when you were on SNL, were there offers for, hey, come to this college and just appear? Okay.
Yes. And I did two of them. I did two of them to see, because it's like, try everything once or twice. And it was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing for me. Like I did Bonnaroo. I did the Comedy 10 at Bonnaroo one year, and the experience was incredible. And they were, and the festival was so generous and like took such great care of me. And I got to see Vampire Weekend. I got to see Kanye West. I got to see Sam Smith, his first like full US performance of his album. It was a great weekend. And I was so gut-wrenchingly embarrassed by the thing I did. Because for me, I was like, well, I guess I'll just do like 5 of my favorite bits that I've done on SNL, because they were like, you only have to do 20 minutes or whatever. And I actually got some friends to come fill out the show too. Like Brooks Wheeling came, and I got to see Brooks do stand-up for the first time at Bonnaroo, and he killed it. And he's so good at it. Yeah. And it's such a specific skill set, right? That I just don't feel I have in my heart.
And you can confirm the Brooks Wheeling story that he had an NBA Jam arcade machine in his writing room.
This is true. This is true. Yeah. That was the beginning of the end for me.
Okay, so then bring it back to you here. You mentioned earlier you're ready for the lake and the drinks and all that, but what's coming up aside from being a great ambassador for your alma mater?
That's very kind. Yeah. So I'm definitely very excited to be directing more. And part of this gala came up because Andrew Chappelle, who's co-hosting with me, he wrote a short film that he very generously asked me to direct. Mm-hmm. And we reached out to Loxa to see if we could shoot there. And it became sort of a scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. They're like, yeah, if you host our gala, sure. Which I think we would have done anyway. But so I'm very excited about that. And I'm trying to get my second feature financed. I'm still kind of polishing the script before we go out, so that, it's that development place. There's a TV show that like we're just closing the deal on that's in development. But then this summer, I'm going to Hungary and Slovakia to shoot a remake of River Wild. Do you remember that whitewater rafting thriller with Meryl Streep? Yeah. So that's a big exciting project that you'll kind of next see me on screen in.
Mentioning the location of that always gets me thinking, how little is actually filmed in New York or LA these days?
Yeah, probably a lot. You heard about the pandemic?
Just a little bit.
Okay, great. Yeah. I think that was just such a like kick in the gut for industry in most major cities. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it just comes down to locations and that beautiful, delicious tax rebate.
Which Canada used to be the king of. And
yeah, exactly. It shifts. Everybody gets a turn. You know what I mean? It's nice.
And then my last 2 questions for you. Music. Who's your favorite artist at the moment and/or all time?
Okay, all time, I'm probably gonna say Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder, Sam Cooke, and The Cure are like the top 3 that I'll just go no matter what mood I'm in. I'm just like, I just need to reset from wherever I'm at. Those are my 3 go-tos. We are a Olivia Rodrigo household. We would die for her. So that's the freshest thing. It's been really fun, because there has been, I don't know how much you've tracked this, but there have been comparisons to Sour, Olivia's album, and Jagged Little Pill, Alanis, and that they were both like in their teens, and it was a complete conceptual album about, a woman being wronged and rising above and being independent, that there's parallels, obviously not specifically in sound, but.
And a male counterpart that helped Convey, Glenn Ballard on Jagged Little Pill, and Dan Nigro, fellow Long Islander, on the Olivia Rodrigo album.
On Sour. Amazing. Well, yeah. So, I've just read several articles, and I think Rolling Stone even had them interview each other. And then I got to take my 12, almost 13-year-old to see Alanis at the Hollywood Bowl. It was Cat Powers, Garbage, and Alanis. So that was one of my favorite concerts I've ever been to. It was incredible.
So soul, goth, indie rock, singer-songwriter, you're all over the place.
It's really hard for me to find a song, a sound that I'm like, turn this off.
I just, are you a Van Halen?
Van Halen. Might as well jump. Go ahead and jump.
I had to throw that in because I'm writing a book on David Lee Roth, and I tried to.
Oh, great.
Can we shoehorn a question in there? But no.
Sure. Yeah. No. Standing on Top of the World, I think, is my favorite of theirs. But that's Hagar, right? That's Van Hagar.
That's Van Hagar, featuring backing vocals from Steve Lukather of Toto.
Okay. Amazing. Yeah. I guess the Top of the World's in Africa.
I see what you did there. That improv background.
Thank you. Yes, and you take the little bit of knowledge. I don't know. I'm an expert in nothing, but I know a little bit about most things.
And then the last question, do you have a TV recommendation you could pass along? My wife and I just have devoured show after show after show. We need a new one.
Okay, I don't know that this is new, but I am horrified at how few people I talk to have seen The Great. Have you?
I've seen the trailers. Is that the one where they say huzzah a lot?
It's so original. It's so hilarious. Nicholas Hoult and Elle Fanning, their performance, to me, it's like the best show because it is a little bit of everything. It's a historical fiction show done with a pop modern vernacular and progressive casting. It's hilarious, mm-hmm. and it's horrific, and it's dramatic, and it's endearing and emotional. That's by far my favorite thing on TV right now. So if you haven't done that, and if you watch it, it's not your thing, then we know, that's where the Venn diagram separates.
We know that there's not Fanning loyalty.
We'll always meet back up at Van Halen.
Hey, thank you for at least entertaining a Roth adjacent question.
Heck yeah. Which they all could be as great as The Great.
I see what you did there, but thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to that feature film, looking forward to the remake that you said, looking forward to it all. Thank you for the many years of great entertainment.
Oh, I appreciate that. You're very kind.
Paltrocast.